Hey there, it's Kerri. Thank you so much for joining me on this latest episode of Invisible Wounds, Healing from Trauma. I'm so glad that we're walking the path towards healing together. So just a quick reminder, I'm not a clinician, counselor, or physician. I'm a certified trauma support specialist with lots of lived experience with trauma. Also, the information presented in this podcast is for educational purposes only and not meant to replace treatment by a doctor or any other licensed professional. I am so very happy and excited today to have an extra special guest on the show. Adrienne Rouan is so many things, and she is the most trauma-informed individual. She is a certified trauma support specialist and somatic experiencing trauma therapist. And this includes specialization in complex PTSD and developmental trauma. Adrienne is also a TEDx speaker, and her TEDx entitled How Trauma-Informed Care Saved My Life is moving and powerful. And that's how I came to be aware of her. She's earned her reputation speaking up about the need for additional mental health training in workplaces, as well as training internationally in some of the world's most influential organizations, such as the International Trauma Institute and the Children and Young People Service Committees in some of Pakistan's and Ireland's most impoverished areas. For over 4 years, Adrienne has been a trusted voice and coach for employers and individuals in a multitude of industries across 3 countries. And I am also so blessed to call her my friend. Adrienne, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Kerri. It is really enjoyable to work with you in so many different ways, and it's an honor to be a guest on your beautiful podcast.
Oh, thank you so much. I've just been looking forward to this so much. And, we could spend hours talking about your journey and all of the incredible work that you have done, are doing, and will do moving forward. But today we're going to look at something really specific, a special kind of support for trauma survivors. I want to hear about trauma recovery yoga and a specific method, the TRI method. So you have an event coming up, right? At the end of June?
Yes, we do. TRI method teacher training for anyone who would like to begin offering it to as a beginning modality if they're just starting out their practice, or even adding on to a thriving clinical or yoga or other healing modality practice.
Oh, that's amazing. So what exactly is trauma recovery yoga?
Trauma recovery yoga TRI method is a very unique and individualized subset of the overall trauma-informed yoga practices. So a lot of yoga teachers become trauma-informed in different ways. So for example, they might take the certified trauma support training specialist at the Arizona Trauma Institute. They even have a trauma-informed yoga training and introduction to it. So you could become a trauma-informed yoga teacher if you're already teaching yoga and have your 200-hour or more certifications. Now, tri-method yoga is different. Tri-method yoga is really neat because it is an opportunity for anyone who has a passion for bringing trauma-informed care and specific physiology-based movement to those who need it. And it is all done in a weekend, a 20-hour training.
Interesting. So what's the background of the TRI method? Can you give us a little history on that?
I sure can. So TRI method was founded by Joyce and Darwin Bozen. And Joyce is a really cool human whom I met at her TEDx as well, given on the same stage as my TEDx the year prior in 2019. Now, Joyce has gone through extensive trauma in her life as well, and she shares a bit about one of her significant traumas, which is around the loss of her son. And her TEDx is based on that story and how she and one of her helpers, Dr. Nicole Anders, out of Las Vegas, Nevada area, came together because Joyce was a yoga instructor already. Dr. Anders is obviously in the mental health field, and they came together to create a very, very specific flow. Now, it's not just a flow. So it also is a trauma-informed training. We come together in a healing circle the first evening. We teach vulnerability and safe vulnerability, creating it together. We also foster empathy and self-compassion. And I'm the hostess of this training. So Joyce is the actual trainer. So I just want to make sure I'm very clear on that. And then I do practice and I do offer classes as one of the facilitators of Tri-Method Yoga. Something else that is good to know is that we teach some of the science and psychology. So we provide psychoeducation, and we also teach the neuroscience behind how the brain processes trauma, and then why Tri-Method or these specific movements help people recover and let go after, especially crisis. We often will be on the ground after crises in our world. So Tri-Method is global now, which is really cool. We have Brenda Hershey out in the Iraq area, helping refugees and helping also mostly women build potentially a business, helping their communities. So it's really multifaceted, I would say. And sometimes we hear, oh, another yoga class. Well, what's that? It's just yoga, right? Well, it's not just yoga. Tri-Method is unique. It's a community. It's extremely choice driven, and it's extremely predictable. So that's something that's really important for us trauma survivors.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I don't want to, I could go on and on, but I feel like I want to give you back the microphone here, so to speak. Yeah.
No, I mean, it sounds incredible. So, you said you mentioned that you really don't need any prior experience. So you could start from never even having really thought about yoga, correct?
That is exactly how I ended up in this. I hadn't thought about yoga at all. In fact, I had gone to one yoga class in my whole life, more of a very westernized, appropriated yoga class, because yoga is an ancient tradition from the country and areas in and around India. And we've appropriated it over here in the good old US of A and turned it into something it was not originally intended for in our traditional yoga classes. So I was extremely uncomfortable as a sexual assault survivor and abuse survivor with the spandex and the skin showing, and some of the poses were extremely triggering. And I never walked back into a yoga class until I met Joyce. So
that almost sounds like my one and only real experience with a yoga class too. It was not adaptable. It wasn't trauma informed. And it was for someone especially with a brain injury and my balance issues, there was no adaptability for someone like myself. And so, some of the yoga, I just fell over. And I'm like, this is not good. I am not doing this again. So, but you're right. This type of view of trauma informed yoga is so important. It's critical for safety. It's critical for self-regulation and for healing.
Absolutely. And it was initially created and originated hundreds and hundreds of years ago for just that. It wasn't really designed to be, exclusive. It was designed for those who were on a healing path or a path of self-actualization or whatever we like to call it that feels comfortable for us, to help one become more in tune with self. And if you think about trauma, there's a lot of different people who use a lot of different explanations for it, definitions for it. However, at the core of it, it's a disconnection from yourself. You don't feel yourself. You don't feel inside your body, or your body is too uncomfortable to be within. So you are in your head, so to speak. And so Try method really, really helps with addressing the polyvagal system, which I'll be teaching in the upcoming training a little bit about the polyvagal nerve and why and how it incorporates beautifully the polyvagal theory by Dr. Porges and several other experts into Try method yoga. And then we'll teach how the movements actually increase vagal toning. So very, very helpful. And then if you're a community-based activist, or if you bring community classes to your area, you can use this method. And that's exactly what I started doing. I had just started my coaching business. I was scared. I was a new business owner. I was nervous. And Joyce welcomed me in. I went to the training, came home, and just started teaching it online 2 or 3 days a week. And I still do. And it's for me as much as it is for others. And it's community-based pricing. And then a lot of our teachers bring it to the communities for free as well.
That's incredible. It really is. And it can be so powerful. And so I mentioned with, the yoga class I attended and it not being adaptable. So is the Try method adaptable for anybody that might have special needs?
Absolutely. That is one of the beauties of this class. And I sometimes, as a teacher of this modality, sometimes still need to modify due to my own trauma history and the physical experiences of trauma that I've had manifest in my own body. So you will notice that we call out choice. If you were to take a class, let's say, you could even go to my website and try to take up a free class before either signing up for this one or another training if you're interested to see what it's like. The whole entire training, we're talking. So we're helping your brain not run away. We're not having big, long moments of silence when you might start to dissociate or notice discomfort so much. Although we are calling you to notice discomfort and then to choose. You have choice. So we use the word choice in our practice, and we'll say, notice that if this movement is in any way creating pain or discomfort, I invite you to only do a portion of the movement. I invite you to lie flat on your back and just listen and visualize the class. Some people might even fall asleep in the class. And that's what we're really embodying, is just people showing up for themselves. Again, reconnecting to self. And if that means that you came to the class, and for some people that is a big, big deal, just to do the signing up and then the showing up to a class of any kind is a big deal, then you've done Try method yoga. So then you could increase from there to little movements, or maybe you end up practicing it long enough to where you do the whole flow. I have one person who's been working with me for almost 2 years, and she has told me, she's like, I noticed that the way that when we do our chair pose, she's like, I just noticed how much more flexibility I have in my ankles and in my low back. And it's truly the persistence of it. And that's why we offer the choice, because choice allows us freedom to be us and to move like us, who we are, find out who and what our body is after everything we've been through.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. So for this event, what can attendees expect?
So you can expect to be received on Friday evening, the 23rd, into a safe space. That evening will be a lot of getting to know one another, and we'll be doing our beautiful trauma circle and teaching vulnerability. And then the next 2 days, we're going to be teaching the whole class. So I do have a list in front of me. And if you are a trauma survivor, you know all about sequential memory processing issues. I am, so I can remember about 3 things. I'm just going to read it to you, and it's available for review on my website too. And before I read it, I do want to let you know that we do offer CEUs. So CEUs may be available for social workers, marriage and family therapists, counselors, nurses, and Yoga Alliance. And this is why. So we teach you trauma diversity. We teach you about the neuroscience of trauma and how it incorporates into Try method. You'll learn self-regulation for resilience, or SRRs as we call them. So grounding, orienting, breath, and those types of exercises are woven in and out through the entire flow as well. We'll teach you a full mat sequence as well as a seated sequence, the mindful movements for youth, and a meditation and mantra for trauma, and breath work for trauma as well. And the flow's the same. That's the beauty of it. Once you memorize it, it is the same every single time. That's where that stability and predictability comes in for the trauma survivor. You'll also receive a trauma-informed teaching and guidance from all of us who are hosting and training you, as well as vagus nerve and vagal toning training. We'll be teaching you the pillars of trauma-informed care, resilience for compassion fatigue. So checking in with yourself. I've been known just here and there, not very often, but to cancel my yoga class in honoring of a day that I've been through. I had a patient commit suicide earlier this year. And as a helper, that was devastating and challenging. And instead of feeling like I have to be here and I have to be there, I was able to say, even the yoga class was too much for me. I needed to be in a yoga class lying on my mat that night and not teaching. And it's just a really beautiful way of showing others how to show up for themselves, that compassion fatigue care. And then you can also learn a little bit about implementing the TRI method into your community. And then Joyce, I don't even know what these will be, but she offers bonus materials and surprises at every training. So I'll be curious to see what those are when we get there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what I really love to hear you say is you use the word flow. And I love that, because that really sort of gives you this image of this, interwoven flow of movement and support and energy, towards healing, which is a beautiful thing.
Yes. And so much of our traditional medical and mental health and physical health care system is all about instant ease. I want a pill. I want an adjustment. I want this one thing to just work like magic for me. And I completely relate to that. I yearned for the magic pill, so to speak, for so long. And it just doesn't exist when it comes to healing from trauma or really anything. Anyone who's ever had an injury and gone through healing, it is a process. So really learning to incorporate it into our day-to-day existence is imperative. And our culture doesn't support that as a whole. So being a part of trauma-informed communities, such as the TRI method community, it's imperative. It's imperative for those of us on the trauma recovery journey to find spaces where we're allowed to flow.
Yes.
And be at ease and use our choice.
Yes. Yeah, it's the physician world is, problem focused, and trauma informed care is the complete opposite of that. The salutogenic approach, which takes in everything about a person, their history, their environment, how they process things, everything, which is just such a beautiful way and much more supportive way to help people.
Absolutely. And it's empowering. It's, wow, look what I made it through. And then how did I do that? And then what can I choose to do now to regain my inner self? And Dr. Gabor Mate is my most favorite. I have to admit, I'm partial.
Mine too. Yep, mine too.
His book, The Myth of Normal, that just came out in the last year, is such a powerful read. He co-wrote it with his son, and I believe his son narrates it. I listened to the Audible version. Again,
me too.
Trauma survivor, right? We have different needs, and there's so many beautiful options in the world now for us to choose to show up in ways that support our best learning needs. So Audible books are my favorite. And also, just an FYI, there's something called a Libby app. If you haven't heard of it and you're a trauma survivor and you struggle with reading, you can download a lot of books for free, both digital as well as Audible audio with your library card. So just FYI, if your library supports the Libby app, you can download it, Libby. It's been wonderful. So yeah, it's Dr. Gabor Mate talks about that, right? We have to retell our story, and our support and providers have to start looking at us differently in order to change our world towards understanding that what we call normal is absolutely nothing that nature would support as normal for our physiologies. We are not made to live the way we are told to live by employers and many other culture and as a whole, right? That run. It's not sustainable. And that is what Dr. Gabor Mate talks about so beautifully, and what I see so evident in patients and clients. It's not sustainable.
Right.
So this is a way to start incorporating into your life and into your practice. And again, I didn't have a practice other than a tiny little coaching online practice when I first started, and trauma recovery, tri-method yoga helped this to blossom for me.
Incredible. Also, just another note on Dr. Mate, the wisdom of trauma is something that everyone should watch.
I was in tears almost the entire episode, or, episode. It's one episode, right? It's about an hour long.
Yeah.
And you can buy it typically for, I think, $1.99 donation on his Wisdom of Trauma website. Oh, that was so just beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So highly recommend that one too. So for people who want to sign up, and, we're getting towards the end of June, and the event is the 23rd, 24th, and 25th, correct?
Yes.
So how do people sign up for this?
Super easy. So you can go either to the Tri-Methods website or Facebook page, TRY Method, or you can come to my webpage, adriennerouan.com. And I've made it super easy. So one of the things I love about being a trauma-informed practitioner is having been through this, I like to think about what it was like trying to sign up for things. So there will be a pop-up on your phone or your computer, and you can just click on register now. You'll see all the details, including the venue and the hours, and you can simply attend. And you can click the button. And when you attend in person, it's $395. If you attend on Zoom, it's $325 for processing. And we send you a beautiful package and some swag, and we make sure that you're included. So I work with Joyce. This is our first ever live stream. So we're having it live in person and simulcast. And so we're doing a lot of work right now to make sure it's a really beautiful experience for both those online and inclusive for those on Zoom.
So where is it physically being held?
Physically, it's being held at the Arizona Trauma Institute down in Mesa, Arizona.
and why is there a significance with it being held at ATI?
Yes, there certainly is. And Arizona Trauma Institute, again, back to the very beginning of my practice, when I first started in 2018 and 19, I thought to myself, well, I'm a PhD in life as far as trauma surviving goes, but I would like to have a certification and have some extra training. So my then virtual assistant, her name is Jess Call. Hi, Jess, if you're listening to this. She's a beautiful, wonderful virtual assistant person, and helped me a lot. But she went online and did some research and found the Arizona Trauma Institute. And that began a huge era of new awareness for me, because again, I knew the hows and the whats of a body experiencing trauma, but I didn't have the ordered and high level learning of what was happening to me. And this was a big part of it. I had learned a little bit through my practitioner, Carla, who does myofascial tissue release, MFR, but I hadn't learned it from, I hadn't learned it yet at that level. So Arizona Trauma Institute is a big part of my journey. And then also I had the really beautiful experience of being invited to share my TEDx in one of their trainings, the Certified Trauma Support Specialist training, which is how you met me.
That is how I found you. During that training, watching your TEDx was so impactful for me. And that's why I found you and emailed you, and you responded, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was so excited. And we've now been friends and are collaborating together on things now for almost a year, and it's just, but taking courses through the Arizona Trauma Institute has also been life altering for me.
Same here. And I've been certified now for, I think, going on 4 years. So you take continuing education with them every year, just expands and broadens my knowledge to be able to help my clients and patients even more. And yes, so to be able to rent the space and be working with Lucy and the team there, as far as just coordinating to be in there, has been really nice. It's just a gift to give back. It's community building is very challenging for those of us who've been trauma survivors. A lot of times, boundaries are a big deal. Being around others who understand what you've been through, maybe that you might have a trigger here and there, is imperative. And so it is possible for us to build sustainable businesses that support us, and then we can support back and then build community around. So most of my community comes from my work as a somatic experiencing a practitioner, coach, therapist, and then also as a certified trauma support specialist through the Arizona Trauma Institute, because that's where we find our people who get it. When we're learning together, we've been survivors together, we get it.
Yes. And I'm just finishing up. I had my last class last night to become a trauma and resiliency life coach. And, everyone in the class has their own deep trauma impacts. And it's a 6-month course. And in being with such amazing individuals, and our instructor has just been, it's just been incredible. So, us kind of all being on this journey together has been really beautiful.
It has been, even at this point for me. And I think one of the aspects of salutogenesis, or the trauma-informed approach, is that we gain this ability to live in the present. And so we're always learning, always growing, always connecting. Life feels full and open, and it slows down, and it feels present. And it's the thing we were looking for in all of our behaviors that we were seeking to change when we came to trauma-informed care, and all of the reactions that we were seeking to change.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. I am so looking forward to this event, and I'm hoping that, we get so many more people to sign up for this and be a part of it. It's going to be such a beautiful experience. So, the event is the Try Method Teacher Training. It is a 20-hour training. It is being held on the evening of July the 23rd, Friday, or June, sorry. I don't know why I said July, June.
It's okay.
June 23rd, June 24th, and June 25th, simulcast on Zoom. And they can sign up. I'm going to put all of the information in my show notes and on my website and all of my social media pages, but they can go to the Try Method and sign up there, or you can go to Adrienne's website, adriennerouan.com, and get all of the information there and sign up as well. And Adrienne, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being the wonderful human that you are. And thank you for sharing this beautiful offering with us. And, we will, it'll be a beautiful thing.
It's an honor to be here with you, Kerri. Thank you for sharing this offering. It's an honor to be a host for Joyce and Darwin Bozen in the Try Method, and to welcome Dr. Anders into the training as well. It's just going to be a really beautiful and flowing experience. So thank you so much. And I hope that anyone who's interested, feel free to reach out. You can get a hold of me easily via my website. You can text, you can call, you can email. I might not be available at that very moment, but I promise I'll get back to you within 1 to 2 working days. Although if it's Try Method related, I want to get back to you probably same day, since it's coming very soon. And just a really quick note for those of you who might be thinking about it, just be honoring and thoughtful around your time and your energy. It is a little bit of a last minute sign up, and I've done that before. So just think about it. We will do our very best to ensure that it's a smooth experience and to meet any resistance with a trauma-informed approach. And also, it might feel a little bit like a water hose for a minute because you're going to get several emails to catch up on, and then you'll receive an email next week with a lot of information. So just be ready and prepared for that if you're choosing to sign up now at this time. And we'll have more trainings.
Yes,
coming soon.
We'll have more trainings. And also, if you do sign up through Zoom, we will be sending you materials.
That is correct. And then we do have a coupon available for $50 off starting on Friday. So starting tomorrow for anyone who is thinking about it. And I will make sure to give that to Kerri so that she can put that also into the notes.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so much, Adrienne. And we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Kerri. Be well.
Again, I want to thank Adrienne Rouan so much for being on the show and for sharing such an amazing event with us. You can find out how to sign up for the event either through going to thetrimethod.com or Adrienne's website, adriennerouan.com, and sign up there. I will also put all of the links and information into the show notes and on my website and all of my Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and other social media pages. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen today. And please keep on listening. Wherever you listen, please like, subscribe, favorite, follow me, and share widely. And what you think really matters to me too. So please let me know what you think, comment on the show, whatever's on your mind. You can find me on Facebook at Invisible Wounds Healing from Trauma, on Twitter at Kerri Walker 58, and my website, invisiblewoundshealingfromtrauma.com. Look for my new episodes dropping every Monday on all of your favorite podcast, music, and listening apps. Please take extra good care of yourself, and we'll talk soon.